In this grammar podlet, we'll look at how to conjugate or form the past perfect tense. This is used to describe what you had done. It uses the auxiliary verb had. When you use this verb, it often implies that something else has occurred since.
Let's look at examples to illustrate our point. We could say,
On arriving home, we saw that he had already prepared dinner.
here, the auxiliary verb is used to describe an action that has already taken place, before a new action. In other words, he prepared the dinner first, and since then, the speaker has arrived home. Let's look at another example.
They had escaped with the money by the time the police arrived.
Once again, the auxiliary had describes what has happened before a new event. In this case, the escape took place before the police arrived.
Like the present perfect tense, forming this tense requires the verb to have. However, this time, you use the imperfect version of the verb. We have
Había, meaning I had. Habías, meaning you had, where you is singular and informal. Había, meaning he had, she had, or it had. It also means you had, where you is singular and formal. Habíamos, meaning we had. Habíais, meaning you had, where you is plural and informal. And finally, habían, which means they had or you had, where you is plural and formal.
choose the person that you want to use. Then, when you're choosing your main verb, remember to add the past participle. The rule for this is very simple. If the infinitive ends in ar, you remove that ending, leaving the stem, and replace it with ado. If the infinitive ends in er or ir, you remove that ending and replace it with ido.
Let's look at an example. Let's say we want to say, we had spoken to her at least 3 times before making the decision. We need to choose the correct person form of to have. In this case, it's habíamos. The infinitive form of spoken is speak. This is hablar. As an ar verb, we remove the ending and add ado. We now have hablado. Now that we have the correct tense, we can continue the sentence to say,
Habíamos hablado al menos 3 veces con ella antes de tomar la decisión.
Let's look at another example. We have,
Habíamos vendido la casa antes de que yo tuviera la oportunidad de hablar con él.
as we've already learned, habíamos means we had. The word for sell is vender. We remove the er ending and replace it with ido. This means that the sentence reads,
We had sold the house before I had the opportunity of talking to him.
Let's finish off the pod by looking at some of the most common irregular verbs. These verbs do not follow the usual rules. We have
Hacer, meaning to do, becomes hecho, done. Decir, meaning to say, becomes dicho, meaning said. Poner, meaning to place, becomes puesto, meaning put. Ver, meaning to see, becomes visto, meaning seen. Escribir, meaning to write, becomes escrito, meaning written. And finally, volver, meaning to return, becomes vuelto, meaning returned.
We leave it there for the past perfect tense. Remember, it is a compound tense. It requires 2 parts, the correct form of the verb haber and the past participle. Buena suerte!